This is what my grandmother did every single morning I can remember. She'd sit in a chair, she'd pour a cup of coffee, and she'd work on sewing projects that she had no intention of ever finishing. But if you sat while she would sew, she would share with you amazing life stuff. One day she looked at me and she said, "Life is not about the moment you enter the world, because you didn't pick that moment. You didn't get to decide when you were going to be born, what you were going to look like, or what your family was going to consist of." And then she would tell me that life isn't about the moment you leave either. This is how my grandmother measured a good life. How are you spending the little moments in between? She'd try to tell us things like, every day you're going to meet someone new. Just try and be a little kinder than necessary. If a good friend invites you to have coffee or tea, don't turn him down. Probably her favorite life lesson was this: if you're going to make someone a real meal, you better use real butter. Now, my grandmother is not famous, but we watched as every day she made the most of those little moments we often take for granted. And I know that if you were to ask her why she did that, she would just tell you, well, that's how you're supposed to treat people. But I can tell you, for the rest of us watching, something about that stuck with us. And when you choose to live this way, to care more about the person next to you than your opinions, those little moments weave themselves into an incredible life. So this is why New Year's resolutions don't work. Check it out. Most people focus all their attention on starting something on January 1st. The problem with that is you spend all this energy getting ready for January 1st. So like, let's say you want to write a book. You think, I got to get the perfect notebook and the perfect pen, and I got to find the perfect chair to sit in, the perfect coffee cup to drink out of, and all the energy goes into making day one successful. But the problem is it's going to take you months and months and months. Let's say it's going to take you till June 1st to get your first draft done. By the time January 3rd comes, what's going to happen is you spent all this time focusing on getting started, not on when you're going to finish. And now all the joy is gone. All the excitement is gone. Here's what you should do instead. Don't put the attention on when you're going to start something. Put all the attention on when it's going to be done. And then think backwards. What are all the steps you have to do along the way to make sure that that happens? And then it just becomes a math problem. If you plan this out and you pick a day that you can't cheat on, you say June 1st, that thing's going to be done, that resolution will exist. And then you think back to what's happening in May and what's happening in April and what's happening in March. If you do that and you just follow the steps along the way, it just becomes a math problem. Finish these things, this thing has to happen.